Hey everyone, how you doing today? This is our Friday show, believe it or not. Every Friday we have a Friday show here called Everyday People on the E360 TV network, and I'm joined today by Tamara Blankenship. Actually, I join her and she joins me, so we're joined together. Tamara, how are you today?
Good. I can't believe it's Friday already. I can't believe we're in March already. It's like
I
this
know it.
year is flying by.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It is March, right?
Yep. Last I checked. Let me look at my watch again. I tell you, it's really been amazing how this TV show thing came about, how it's going and growing, and it's really humbling to me because we haven't spent any money as far as marketing and advertising and all that, and we're thousands of viewers every day, and my goodness gracious, it really humbles me. It really does. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been so fun to meet all these amazing souls who join us on every show and get a chance to really understand more about the gifts and talents that they offer the world.
Oh, yeah.
So there's just not enough time in the day to share all the stories, but it's so grateful that the ones that do stop by get to share. It's amazing.
You're exactly right. And the thing that I really brought about the change from the pandemic last year was that the virtual stage is here to stay. I mean, people love the virtual stage because, the only thing you got to do as far as traffic is step over the dog to go through the refrigerator, get something to drink.
And think about that wardrobe you're not spending, right?
That's
half
right.
of us are only spending in half the income.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I tell you, it's so much convenient and it's so acceptable. And you can reach a multitude of people with it. And at E360 TV, we're very honored. We actually had the president of E360 TV on our show Wednesday on the Messages of Inspiration and Hope show. And it was more like a fireside chat because we had a lot of fun. I don't think we covered half the stuff we wanted to because we got to talking and visiting and all that. And we all had a great time. And I have that same feeling today with the young lady we got on by the name of Tiffani Patlán. And just visiting with her briefly before the show. Oh my goodness. She's a very special lady. Let's welcome her to the show. I'll do the button pushing, you do the welcoming. It's a joint venture.
Sounds great. So Tiffani is absolutely amazing. I want her to more speak about it herself, but she is a health advocate, a podcaster, and a wife, a homeschooling mom, which is just amazing. Of course, an entrepreneur. And she helps people with transformation, personal transformation guides. So Tiffani, I'd love to hear a little bit more from your perspective. What drew you to get into this? Maybe even just start off by sharing a little bit about your individual story, how you discovered this journey, and share with us why you do what you do.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here, and I'm excited to share my story. I refer to myself as a personal transformation guide because I want to help everybody realize the truth of who they are. It's something that I recently experienced in December of 2019. I had gone through a bout of depression that I thought I had escaped. Found myself in bed, not wanting to get up, done with life, and I thought I was done with those feelings that I had in the past, but they were still there. And I realized that I couldn't live like this and something had to be done. And so I decided to go on a quest to search for anything and everything that I possibly could. And what stuck out to me were those three words: mind, body, and soul. Stuff about self-love, self-confidence, having a powerful voice, that your voice deserves to be heard. All this stuff I've heard before, but I never really truly understood what it meant. I never applied any of that. And I feel like that might be a lot of us today. And so I said, you know what, this stuff is supposed to work, so I'm going to do it. And I made a decision for every single day. I was going to focus on my mental health, my physical health, and my spiritual health. Now, I had already been pretty good with the physical portion because we eat really well. We're versed in nutrition. I've been researching for the past 10 plus years about nutrition. So I felt really good about that. I just was a little lax with the exercising. I can be honest, I was not focusing on my mental health, which again is a lot of us. And same thing with our spiritual health. A lot of people might be spiritually connected, but they're, not moving as much as they should, or eating proper foods, or maybe they're not focusing on their mental health. And this is something beautiful that I learned, because by doing each one of these things daily, that's when the magic happens. You start to live in alignment, what they call balance. And we've seen that everywhere, right? So have I. Still never knew what it meant till I actually experienced it.
Right.
And I call it my trifecta because I chose to go outside for a walk in my neighborhood. It's really beautiful. There's a lake. There's a lot of plants and greenery. So it's gorgeous. And just by simply being out in nature, that can connect you spiritually. Walking is your exercise. So there's the physical part. And then mentally, because when you're outside feeling connected to nature, you're vibrating, your internal vibration is higher. So when you speak affirmations, they're that much more powerful. So that's what I would do. We would, and I made it a family thing, my husband, my kids, and we would walk outside and I would just be feeling so just lighter than a feather, light on air, just amazing. And I would just affirm greatness. I would affirm gratitude, for everything in my life, my health, my wealth, my just everything, all around. And I've learned that that's where the key lies. That's the key to unlocking your ability to heal, is to live in alignment in those three core areas. And to me, that is what I believe is universal. We all experience trauma differently. We all experience different emotions in a different way, and our past is different. Although we might resonate with one another, we should never compare each other's story. Or transformation, because it's all different. For example, one person may choose to swim and another person chooses to walk, and they both deserve to be congratulated because they're both aiming for the same end goal, which is to live in alignment and have that beautiful transformation occur. And once that occurs, once you start living in alignment, that's when things just start coming to you. You start having thoughts, you start having memories, and some of them might cause you to ugly cry. Some of them might not be pretty. It's true. I mean, that happened to me, but
it's so true.
It was such a beautiful thing though, because I did a release ritual. And what that was I typed out, I could have written it, but I decided to type because I type fast. And I just typed out all this stuff in reference to my mom, because there's a lot of hurt there. And so I just wrote out a whole bunch of stuff that probably wouldn't have made sense to anybody reading it, but that wasn't the point. The point was pretty much to get all the hurt and pain, unanswered questions, all that stuff down onto a piece of paper. And then after that, usually they say it's nice to have a community of people around you, but I didn't really have that at the time. I just had my husband in our little bathroom, so we could rip up the paper and burn it, safely in the toilet. So, but I remember it was challenging because I sat there and it was hard for me to open up that letter and read it. But I did it. And that's when the ugly crying came. But guess what? After that, I felt a little lighter. I went to bed and the next day I felt completely different. I've never realized how heavy our trauma is, how heavy those old emotions that we carry for almost a lifetime are. I mean, we're not taught that. We're not, broadly taught to process our emotions, feel your emotions. We're human beings. Men are told not to cry. Women are, told to be quiet, stop being so feelings. But that's what we were designed to do. And when we push those emotions and events or trauma or anything away, what happens is that becomes buried within our subconscious mind. And that's where our identity is comprised from. So we're wondering why people are walking around angry, pissed off at the world. Something small happens and they go from 0 to 60. And people just like, oh, they're just crazy. No, there's something wrong. There is an underlying issue. And I feel like that's something that happened to me when I was younger. There was all this abuse happening left and right from the age of, since I was a little girl, just in the home. But, as a little girl, you're not aware that that stuff is happening. But I grew up an entire lifetime having all these events occur, and I never got help for it. It just wasn't there. I didn't grow up learning to have a voice. I didn't grow up with self-confidence. I was bullied. I was incestuously raped times 3 different people. And then that just continued on. I've been homeless out in the street, having to sleep in a jacuzzi to keep myself warm. Brushing my teeth in the sprinkler, using the water from a sprinkler to rinse my mouth out, stealing, drugs, alcohol. I ended up having a severe anxiety disorder, depression, OCD, the PTSD nightmares. Those, I remember those were really, really bad, but I don't suffer from any of that anymore. I've learned that when we experience a lot of stuff like this, we tend to develop anxiety disorder. Anxiety is normal. This is stuff that I've learned. Anxiety is normal. It's there to protect us. For example, if we're getting chased by a wild animal, but when certain things happen and it triggers us, that anxiety response, it's important for us to just stop and take a moment and ask ourselves why we feel the way that we feel. And I think that's where it starts. The self-awareness starts to help you identify the root of where that happened. And it kind of hurts my heart because I see tens of thousands of people all over the world that are just getting on medication. And the reason why that irks me so bad is because I worry, I care. It's coming from a caring part of me, because medications serve their purpose. They have a purpose. But when it comes to your emotions, I feel like it's just like masking. Like your medications are basically no different than drugs or alcohol, because they do the same thing. What they have in common is it numbs you. It numbs you from feeling. So it's like a Band-Aid. But I know some people require that. They need it and this, that, and the other. But it is my belief that if you can find the root of what caused your anxiety disorder, your depression, the OCD, those things originated from somewhere, some event, some traumatic event, something that happened. And you just got to figure out what that is and process it so you can heal from it. And then you don't have to deal with it anymore. No lifetime of medications that have side effects. And you don't even know what those side effects are. And they affect you, your marriage, with your children. And that's another thing that I think is huge, is that I feel like we all have a personal responsibility to be the best person that we can be, because otherwise we tend to take out and project our, emotions out onto other people. Hence the crazy people that they refer to as like, oh, why is that person so pissed off? Why did they get mad just because that little thing happened? It's because they're hurting. They're in pain. A lot of us are, and it breaks my heart.
And as you were talking, it reminded me something a little, and this is important. People like, Tiffani, and I know Tamara's experience, the little things that you can say to someone that can really change their life. And back in the 70s, I drank quite a bit, you might say. When you go to the bar every night and drink about 12 beers and 2 or 3 shots of tequila, that's quite a bit in my book. Yeah. But that was my life. That's who I was. I get off to myself and drink. And I went to a meeting of Vietnam veterans, and I saw this guy up there, and you could tell he had been run through the ringer washer at least twice. His jaws were kind of sunk in, and he wasn't that old, he wasn't 70 or 80, but he just been run, hard life. Had all these tattoos and, long stringy hair. And I'm thinking, I look at him, I'm thinking, man, we're on 2 different planets. And I thought, what am I doing here? And then he said this one little thing. He says, learn how to forgive yourself, because what you did over there was not an act of hatred. It was an act of survival. That slapped me and woke me up. A little simple something saying like that. It's amazing how that little key can unlock that door you've been trying to beat down. It's made out of granite or whatever. Right. And then in January the 1st, that started changing my life. And I made up my mind, you know what? January the 1st, 1981, I'm going to quit drinking. And I quit cold turkey. And I walked away. And I just did it because I was sick and tired of, I wasn't a bad guy. I mean, I was married, but I didn't, go around and run around my wife or anything, but I wasn't around my kids and all that. And I was feeling pretty bad about that, and rightfully so. And I remember my poor mother, she called me, she says, I want you to pray for me. I said, sure, Mom, for what? She says, I want you to pray that God will take these cigarettes away from me. I said, Mom, I don't believe in that. She says, why not? That's the first place. God didn't give you them cigarettes. You went down to Harris Teeter and you got them by yourself.
Good point. God helps those who help themselves, right?
Yeah, and she says, well, how did you quit drinking? I said, simple. I quit buying. When you quit buying, they quit serving.
That's true.
And I mean, it's just, we're always looking for that little crutch when sometimes we need to trust I don't don't know to be bone or, who you are, whatever, but just trust yourself and say, hey, I can do this. And I can get by. What's that great song? I can get by with a little help of my friends by Joe Cocker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You should be singing that song because you can get by with a little help from your friends because, like Tiffani, I mean, you got some great relationships, great friends. Lauren was on our radio show this morning. And you know what? I think I told you this beforehand, but I'm going to say it for the folks out there. Lauren Patterson is her very close friend. They have a podcast together. They're going to talk about your podcast here in a minute, girl. And you got a book together, I think.
Yes, I do.
And she says, Jim, I'm going to watch a show today. I go, okay, great. She says, yeah, I want to make sure you behave yourself. I'm going, oh, man, I knew there's a catch. I should have seen that, freight train coming right in the face.
So funny. I want to pull out something that I think you guys are talking about. One aspect of, becoming awoken, becoming clear. A lot of us don't realize how much we use our outer stories to validate staying stuck. So we will hear something negative or interpret it negatively, because sometimes it's not even negative. It could be just like the rain today. All of a sudden it's rainy out. Now that just ruined my day. Now I have to go out. We will make anything about our world become a problem to stay stuck. And I deal with anxiety, depression. That's my world. I do conflict resolution around navigating, helping people recognize how they pull in the darkness and how they create trouble in their lives by, also recognizing what you angst about, things that put fear into your life by making it wrong. And those indicators, like you said, that go on in your body that tell you, oh, that feeling, I shouldn't be feeling that. That's wrong. No, it's an indicator. It's a moment in time where you have a choice. You go down that path or you don't. It's just a choice. And when you really get clear on what anxiety does, it is just a signal. It's that simple. But unfortunately, we have made anxiety a problem. And so that and depression's lack of expression, not having a voice around issues in your life, not doing something about them, not getting motivated, like getting out and getting into movement releases depression. So it's not the only way, but it is a starting point. And same with anxiety. You've got to take ownership. It's your amygdala in your brain that's getting all sideways based on perception, and not always, because sometimes the amygdala gets triggered, like you're saying. There's a lion coming at you, you're going to run. That's pure adrenaline. Anxiety is doing its job, right? It's fight, flight, or freeze to survive. So it is important to know those indicators. When am I truly in an anxious moment that I need to become hyper? All my senses turn on. I need to become aware, dial in that moment to do something different. Or is it a story that I'm carrying that's putting into this sense of anxiety that I'm using every element of our lives to pull in that fear of anxiety that keeps me enabled, keeps me stuck? Because truly, is it not, what we think becomes our reality? And then we start living that reality every day, those belief systems. Never really was so, but we made it so. So you get a chance to shift that. So I do love that you get that, because being an advocate for people to have a voice, I call it, I love serving the people who have lost voices or the forgotten children and helping them find a voice in their own way to resurface to truth. Because the truth is we're here all to be for the same thing, to be loved and supported, right? But when we lose track of that, we can get derailed. So all I wanted to say, long way around it, is basically pay attention to what you're pulling in, because it's not about just finding the way out. It's becoming aware of what you're doing that's keeping you stuck. There's both elements going on. So, yeah.
One thing I want to mention about Tiffani, you got your website there, Unlocking Your Ability to Heal. That's your website, and that is also your book, isn't it?
Yes, I just recently hit bestseller in 5 categories.
Yeah. I went to your website, and the thing that I was telling Tamara before you got to the studio, the thing that really impressed me was your passion. It came through about, if you got teenagers, you really need this book. And it's only 99 cents. I mean, for 99 cents, if you don't think your kids are worth 99 cents, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, except you got some serious problem in your ears, you may have a couple of circuit panels in there that's burned out, like my old buddy Einstein would say, yeah, Jim, I know what you mean. I agree with you on that one.
It was just really important for me to offer something. And not only that, I do plan on donating a lot of books and speaking in women's shelters. And I got to see what's going on with that with COVID. But being 14 years old and being stuck, I thought about other teenagers. My son's 13 and he's about to turn 14. And I look at him and I think about where I was and the things that I was going through. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to teach him everything it is that I've learned so he doesn't have to live a life like that.
Yeah. Share a little bit more about the book, how it came about and how you felt when you were creating it, I should say. And when someone gets your book, what it's going to do for them. In any order you want to. Go ahead.
Sure. Going back to my transformation, this is an example of how the doors of opportunity will start to open up for you. So I experienced this transformation and started doing this work December 2019, January 2020. And in January 2020, there was a female entrepreneur conference. And I had been excited to go because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm looking to build my businesses. So I went. And had I not been, I should back up. Before this, I still suffered from anxiety. And my husband and I had a really ugly, nasty fight, something we haven't had in quite some time. And he ended up going to California for, so we could both breathe. And in doing so, I had no choice but to vendor selling my product to make money to be able to feed my children. And so I did it sweating, crying, trembling, all the anxious feelings that you get. But I did it anyway because I had little mouths to feed. But being forced to face my fear taught me that there's nothing to be scared of. It's like a big fat lie. And I'm like, well, where is this coming from? And this was part of my transformation as I realized it, like, there's really nothing to be scared of. It's just fake fear, what I call like phantom fear. So as I continued to do this, I built it up and the anxiety would lessen and I got more familiar and things would be okay, which is what, when I went to that female entrepreneur conference, had I not practiced ahead of time, I honestly don't think I would have went. I would have came up with a reason or an excuse not to go, which is something I typically did because of my anxiety disorder. But I went and I met my book coach, Christine Gale, and I never knew that I was going to come out of there with a book coach writing my very first book. And I had been wanting to write my book for the past 10 years and it came. And this is just an example how as soon as you just surrender and you just start focusing on you, caring about you, being the love that you never had, beautiful things just start happening in all areas of your life. It's just beautiful. I'm getting goosebumps right now because I know it's beautiful. And that's what sparked my book. And I knew that I was going to share my story because I've gone through some ugly things. I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry. Have your children read it yet, or have you shared it with them?
My son, my 13-year-old, I've talked to him about things that have happened to me, in a way, a level that he can understand. How much does he understand though, because he hasn't gone through it, thank God. But, so I did my best to explain it to him the best I could. I talked to him a lot about it, but they haven't read it, but it's a legacy I'm leaving behind. So I expect that they will.
Absolutely.
When he gets older, he's going to say, wow, he's my mom. She's made out of granite. I mean, this is one tough lady. As you were talking, I'm going to give a very condensed short story because Tamara knows the story and I've said it before. It reminded me when I was invited to attend an event in Orlando, and I really didn't want to go. And I kept, thinking about myself here. Okay, I'm in my mental world, which is dangerous anytime. But I'm thinking, I don't want to spend that money. I don't want to go down and listen to some yakety saxer get up there and try to impress me. I mean, I've done 10 times things more in my life than he has. I'm a Vietnam veteran, retired master sergeant. I mean, who is this clown,
Right.
So you see, my attitude was all right,
Very justified.
But something kept telling me I need to go. So then the master sergeant in my DNA comes out again, the real me. And I said, okay, I'm going to go, but under one condition. I'm going to change my life. And you know what? That was a good thing because at that point, that's all I needed to know. So I got on the Silver Bird, landed down there, and went to the event. And that's when I met some other people. And it led me to meet Don McGrath, which led us all the way down this journey to where we're right now. I met Tamara Blankenship, and here we are in living color. And I am one happy dog. And I'm so glad that I went down there to change my life. That's the moral of that story.
Yeah, that's just more proof that once you make that choice and you surrender to your healing to make your life better, it's like an instant reward that you get.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't leave me alone. It just kept coming back to my mind. It's like, because already this, I ain't going down there, But I tell you something, it's really been a blessing for us and, Tamara and the way that Tamara and I work together here on the show, the people that we attract, the interviews. I mean, Tiffany, it's the guests. It's people like you that make our show great.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no question about that. Because it's like I tell people that, when you turn on the TV, you watch America's Got Talent. That's one I always use as an example. You know who the hosts are, but you tuned in to watch. To watch the people who's going to, be impressive, who's going to say, oh my gosh, they actually practiced that before they got on TV. That'd be me if I went up there to play a horn, my horn wouldn't work.
I'm so passionate about everything that I've experienced that's why I want to give back to everybody. That's why I have my Kindle version priced at 99 cents. It's for people who can't afford a $20 book. I used to think about me back then when I knew I wanted help, I wanted something, and I couldn't afford a $20 book. But $1, I could scrape up $1. And not only that, I'm asking people to go and purchase that and review it so other people can learn the power of healing in the book, because that helps people if they see something and they're like, okay, these people read it and it's this and that. I want it, because it's all about healing. And in the back, not only do I share my story of hardship, healing, and transformation, but I created a wellness section in the back of the book. So anybody can pick up the book and follow along and choose anything to practice in their mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. So they can just take it and run with it. But I know sometimes there's people that need a little bit more help, a little bit more guidance. And that's the reason why I decided to start offering my services as a personal transformation guide. And that's pretty much to be there for people, to guide them as they go through this. Because if let's say you grab the book and you start practicing something for your mental, physical, and spiritual health, you might start having old memories. You might start having old emotions, and things might be happening, and you might get stuck, and you might not know what to do. And that's why I want to be there to help guide people. I actually have a masterclass starting this March 25th for anybody. And I'm going to just teach everything that I've learned for free. Everything. I'm just going to throw it all out there.
Wow, that's really amazing. So all they got to do is go to your website there. Unlocking your ability to heal. I like that. Unlocking your ability to heal. When you read that title on that website, you know what you're going there to do. You're not going there to learn basket weaving.
Nope. No confusion there.
That's right. And speaking of, what you were saying there, Bill Heinrich, he's one of the co-creators of the 6-minute webinar. He had a guy, we had a guy on one of our workshops, and this guy's a top 200 seller in Amazon.
Nice.
He saw the 6-minute webinar and he went, holy enchiladas, Batman. This is amazing. And it really is. And I'm saying that from the heart because it's true. It just helps you get clarity in your business and also communicate with your ideal client. But he says, Bill, I'm going to hire you to put mine together. And see, that's because he didn't have the confidence. Even though he's a top 200 Amazon seller, he didn't have the confidence to do a little 6-minute webinar, or maybe didn't have the time. Let's give him that much slack in the chain. But the point being, whenever someone, comes to you, they might need a little extra, reassurance, helping, understanding, a good listening ear, because that's what I get from you. That's the strong vibe I get from you. You got a heart and you're willing to listen. Yes. Whereas Tamara over there, she holds up signs at me sometimes. Jim, be quiet. Hush.
I do not. You know what I was going to say too, is I think it's so hard sometimes to even know where to start. Sometimes we're
Yeah.
so in our invested state that we don't realize just starting is the important part, right? So, having someone like Tiffani there to be there, to hold your hand and to say, it's okay. It's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to move on. So
and look how Tiffani got here on this show here. You can email us at inspirationd360tv. If I push the right button, there we go. I got to do some more home training here. But
you're doing awesome.
Yeah, but
he's got all the ropes to hold.
That's right. I'm I got all slick hands hanging on, sliding down. But what was I going to say now? Oh yeah, right. Judy Thurston was on our show, and she introduced us to Lauren, and then we got introduced to Tiffani, and it's just amazing how the energy just says, hey, you need this person, you need this person, because I really would like to take the credit and say I was that smart and intelligent, but Tamara would know that I'm not being straight up with you, so I don't even go there. It's just dumb. I'll call it dumb luck, and I'll slide by like it underneath the radar, and I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? But it really is. It's
likes
proof.
To play small, but he's really amazing.
Yeah, it's proof that when you give from the heart and you help people, it just opens up doors. So if you're pushing a chain uphill, get out of your head.
Yeah.
Your head's no crystal ball. I'm living proof of that. All you can see is the rear view mirror of all the things in the background. Leave it back there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're going down the road in the car. Your rear view mirror is real small, but the windshield's real big. So look forward,
Pay attention to the detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Speaking about the 6-minute webinar, is it okay if I pay a bill and put them on there? Give them one of those commercials. Actually, they're not commercials, just a little message. Angel Marie Monticelli. Oh yeah, this lady is very, very special.
She's a precious one.
Hi, I'm Angel Marie Monticelli with Angel Marie Shines, and I had the pleasure, the honor to go through training for the 6-minute webinar. Oh my gosh, this webinar and how it's structured and how they teach it. Thank you, Speakers Pathway Coalition. Thank you, Don McGrath, and the whole team for the 6-minute webinar, because you made it so simple, easy. And the way you lined it out with the outline, I can reproduce it. And I'm already getting the engagement. I'm getting people that are coming back that are saying, oh, I love this webinar that's so short, so to the point, and I love your products and what I'm selling, but then what I'm also the services that I provide, and I do any of this because I have the framework. So thank you so much to the whole team, because the 6-minute webinar totally rocks. Thank you.
We have a little good music on all of our shows, and sometimes when the camera's not on, I'll get up just so I can get down.
So true,
I'm afraid
right?
I better not today, But Tiffani, I tell you, it's just amazing how, the doors open to you when you start, getting out of your mind and coming from the heart. And, about you writing your book there. Let me put this back up here again, about your book. And goodness gracious. Let me find it here. Here we go. There we go. Unlocking your ability to heal. It just tears down all kind of barriers. Things come to you. And that's exactly what happened to Tamara and me here with the TV show. It just came to us, didn't it, Tamara?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been a very exciting journey. It's hard to believe we've been going since December.
I know
December?
We started, November the 30th was our first broadcast. And we started, ladies and gentlemen, we started big time. And I tease people, because we did start on Zoom and Facebook Live when the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the whole thing started, it was that Bill Heinrich says, hey, we need to address this pandemic. We got people that's living in fear. We got people, and we realized that if we brought speakers on that could share a message of inspiration and hope, not only with others, but it also blesses them. Because every time you talk about, what your journey is and what you're wanting to do to help others reach out, you're also blessed. It's a win-win situation. And we went through 3 different series there, and I had interviewed 300 and something guests on that show, and we really didn't know what the next level was. We were at that point. And that's when Tamara Hunter introduced me to Aaron Hymas at E360 TV. And everything just fell into place. Yeah. And we started on the 30th of November. Then I invited Aaron last website, the workshop we had on 6-minute webinar. He did a 6-minute webinar on his events he's got coming up. And me and him were working again on some more things. So all the people who have been on the show, I'm including them on what we're doing, because we're family. We believe in having like-minded people, like-hearted, the same kind of heart. If we help one another, guess what? They will help you. And it's really a mastermind. That's what it is. It's a true mastermind. And when you get involved with people like it, the people who say, oh, you can't do it, or you're this or that, just get rid of those. I don't mean get rid of them, but,
naysayers.
Yeah.
It's like they're
bless them.
projecting their feelings.
Yeah.
They're projecting how they feel. Oh, I can't do that, so that means you can't do it either. No,
that
that's not true.
It makes them feel good about putting you down. You know what I always say to them?
Experts.
Salahilo holapala and tacos and enchiladas to you and yours. And they wonder, what's salahilo holapala mean? I don't know. I just made it up. But it sounds impressive. Yeah. And don't let them rent free space in your mind. That's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, because they're always looking for some place to hang their hat for free. So
absolutely.
Be like Shania Twain with them, that song, I'm out of here.
I mean, that was me. I didn't think that I could do a lot of stuff. I mean, I was held back. Like, for example, something simple on Facebook, it's Facebook, and it's meant to have your face, right? Well, I wouldn't put my face on there for the longest time. I had all these pretty pictures, and my book coach, she inspired me. She said, she actually challenged me. She says, I challenge you to put your face up there. And I felt that anxiety, that anxiousness. I had just started working on everything. So it was still fresh and new. And I felt that feeling. But then I remembered, it's that fake phantom fear. Why am I so scared of? Like, what am I scared of? Like, there's nothing to be scared of. So I went and I just did it, and nothing bad happens.
Yeah. She should have told you. Hey, go over to Jim Grant's page and look at his face, and you won't have no problem putting your face up. Oh, you got to have a little humor, I tell you.
So funny.
But
so share with us a little bit about your podcast, because I know we talked about it. We touched on it earlier, but I'd like to, if you could share a little bit about what they could expect if they hopped on your podcast.
It's called Knowledge to Inspire. And that's pretty much in a nutshell what Lauren and I wanted to do, was just to help bring knowledge to people and inspire them through our stories. So we, little by little, will share a little bit about us depending on the person that we bring on. We try to correlate it to see if we have any experiences to share with people for all that inspiration. And then we just have people that come on that are, like the other day, we had somebody talk about ancestral nutrition, and it was really great because I feel like we need to relearn nutrition. That's part of the reason why it's one of the 3 core areas to take care of, because a lot of us are eating foods that have no nutrients, and we're wondering why our hair and nails won't grow. It's because we're starving and we don't even realize it. And it's crazy, but it was amazing to have him on there. So he's able to provide knowledge to our listeners. And then, of course, we give them a little bit of inspiration, because knowledge is power.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I tell people in our show, we provide a little infotainment. You ladies provide the info, and I provide the tainment.
I can see that.
But, it's kind of interesting, too, because what you just said there with your guest, if you look at the lifespan of dogs, they're getting their bodies, they're not getting good nutrients in their bodies, and their lifespans are shortening. They have cancer. They have heart disease. We just lost one of our dogs, had congestive heart failure. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, if everyone had the heart of the family dog, what a wonderful world this would be. And number two, I know I'll see them again, and not have to worry about nothing else. It's going to be a beautiful place to be. no politicians, no taxes. So if you're looking for me, I'll be over at the coffee bar. I'm sure there'll be one there.
Sounds like a good place. I'll join you.
Okay. Coffee's on me. How about that? Awesome. I'll sweep the floor and can wash the dishes and clean the diner. I'm not hard to get along with. Oh, goodness. But it's really incredible that, you have someone of that caliber on there with that kind of knowledge, because nutrition, I know Tamara is very much into nutrition. Yeah. And she's been trying to goat rope me into eating healthier and all that, bless her heart.
Very healthy. Stinger.
Oh, yeah.
He's a wealth of knowledge on nutrition and vitamins and herbs, and he's more than people realize. Yeah.
Well, when you were outside earlier in the first part of the show talking about the sunshine and all that, the thing came to my mind was all like good vitamin D.
Right.
That is so good. Your skin just absorbs it. And that's, that is vitamin D is, my goodness gracious. It is a tremendous vitamin. And
just stepping outside is so helpful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You better believe it. Fresh air in your lungs and all that. Tamara goes out in the boonies and she's gone for 3 or 4 months at a time, So.
I don't blame you.
She's an outdoors lady. She really is.
Yeah, just something as simple as stepping out in nature is so important for us. And I know with COVID, a lot of us were scared and stuffed inside, but I feel like things are coming around now, and I feel like we need to get back. We need to get back at that. There's even things like some people I know suffer from agoraphobia because they've had traumatic things happen to them and they can't even bring themselves to go outside. So I try to promote people, look out your window, open a window to try to still at least get that fresh air in. In my book, I also talk about Todd Brinkman, who's another fellow author, and he is bringing virtual reality to hospitals and ways that people never thought to use it before. And I have it in my book as a possible tool for those that, suffer from agoraphobia or anything else where they can't bring themselves outside from fear. Perhaps they can practice by using something like that, knowing that they're safe in an environment. Yeah. Except for I was told that like 99% of people that experience it cry because it's so real. So I haven't experienced that myself.
Check it out.
I know, right? I want to go to the beach.
It came out. I can't remember what it's called. Darn it! It talked about the video games where people could change who they are and make this whole. It's a kids movie, and they literally live in there. And then their home lives, they live on stacked campers, or it's this crazy, whacked out like world. And it's so interesting because I'm excited to check that out. I think we're all going into a place where we're going to connect on a different level, but it's really interesting, kind of fun. I love that suggestion too. It's great, Tiffany, if you're feeling like you're overwhelmed, and we were talking earlier about that amygdala thing, what a great way to desensitize yourself. So I love that suggestion because it really does help people tone down the intensity. Great thought.
And that's what anxiety is. It's just an intense, scary feeling. And I noticed that a lot of times things happen, and when we become triggered, we tend to react from that place of pain. So we're responding as if what happened that long time ago is happening right now. But that's not true. That's not what's happening. And the more self-aware we become, the more we're able to identify that and, not project it onto the people we love, because I see it all over social media, just everywhere, and it hurts my heart. And I think I've been able to develop a lot of compassion for people, because when I see somebody acting, incorrectly or irate or something, the first thing I think about is somebody must have hurt them. I wonder what they've gone through. I wonder what pain they're holding on to. I don't sit there and be like, wow, that person's psycho. It's just, I have more compassion now because I get it. I'm like, I see it clearly. And I'm like, and I just want to reach out and help them. Like, I'm so grateful for everything that I've experienced and everything in my life. That's why I'm sharing everything right here, right now. I want to help heal the world. That's my mission. I don't care how big and crazy it might seem to people. That is how I feel. That's how grateful and passionate I am, is I really want to reach the world. I just want to help people heal, get them back to learning about nutrition, learning to be in control of your mind, wanting to care about yourself so much that you only feed yourself the best. You want to go outside and experience nature because you understand that can help you, enhance your life meaning, your purpose, your spirituality, whatever you want to call it, all that good stuff. that's why I'm doing this. Everybody has something, and I'm not perfect. I want everybody out there to know I am a human being. I make mistakes. But the thing is, I don't live there anymore. Like what you said, Jim, when something happens, I've learned to forgive myself. A lot of the things I did in the past are not pretty, and I am not proud of it.
Yeah.
But I've learned to forgive myself because I did those things based on the knowledge that I had at the time. And that wasn't the truth of who I was. And that's kind of the beauty of transformation, is because you pick up all of these behaviors, these thoughts, words, feelings. And then when you let all of that go, the stuff that no longer resonates with you, all that's left is you. And you don't even know who you are. That happened to me. But then I saw the beauty, because I was able to emerge and blossom into the person that I was always meant to be. And that's who you see today. And I'm just going to continue to evolve and share everything that I've learned with the world, because everybody deserves to live in the light and feel the way that I do.
I'm sitting here smiling at you, and I'm not smiling at you in a negative way. I'm just thinking about, look at all that positive energy. You can just see it. You can just feel it going through the airways. I mean, it's just, it's amazing when you run into someone like that that's just got so much energy and compassion. It just vibrates right through the airways. But one thing I'd like to say, if I may, you talked about being out with nature. And it brought to mind one time many years ago, I was faced with a difficult situation. I was financially embarrassed. I had to pay a big bill, didn't have the money. So, that was the situation. And it was preying on my mind, because the same customer calls again and wanted some more material, and I didn't have it, and I couldn't pay for the other because they hadn't paid me. So, anyway, that's a long, boring story. Yeah. I got up at 4:00 in the morning. I was drinking coffee, and I walked outside, and we were in the middle of a drought. And I heard the morning birds singing. I mean, I heard them, but I wasn't listening to them. And this thought came to my mind, says, do you hear the birds? And I stopped and I looked at the bird, listened. And I said, real pretty birds, got beautiful songs, And the next thought came to my mind, says, even they will sing in the middle of a drought. So that brought me down to grassroots reality. Got me out of my ding dong head in here. And I thought, okay, I can do this. And I made the call at 9:00 in the morning, and I had word for nothing. That shows you how smart I am.
I think that's true. A lot of us will do that. We paint these big, catastrophic, devastating experiences, and they just don't live up. Most often, they don't live up to those things.
And I tell people, I did hard time in my hacienda for nothing. That's about as dumb as you can get. But I was the best I could be in that department.
I think that's so cool. We sit there and dwell on all the different possibilities that could happen before we even step into the experience.
It can run you batty. I mean, it'll ruin your night.
So true.
It will ruin your night.
It can ruin a life. It can ruin your life.
Oh yeah,
and run your life. Run and ruin it.
And just like I said, the next morning I called the guy and I said, "This is my situation. I'm going to pay for another 6 days." Okay, I understand that. They're a big company. I'll send it to you. No problem. I'm going really? Oh, I mean,
speaking of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what the whole point was?
And the point, also too, is that sometimes we go the extra mile. We hunt for ways to punish ourselves, to make ourselves, imagine the world's coming to the end, the sky is falling and all that. When all you got to do is take a deep breath, relax, love yourself, and say, whatever it is, it's a perfect place for me. I'm going to handle it. And so that's why when I get on TV or whatever, I'm just myself. Not everybody's going to like me, and that's okay, but I am who I am. I can't change. I can't be phony. I just can't. It's just not who I am. And that's what I love about Tiffani, because she was talking, I'm smiling because, man, this lady is vibrating. I mean, she's still in the show, and I'm saying, go ahead, girl, go ahead. Come on, give us more. You're making us look good.
Well, I hope everyone else can feel my genuine passion, because I don't want anybody to feel the way that I felt. Just to share a little something, there was a time when I remember being out on the street. I don't remember pretty much the incidences that happened before or even what happened after, but this is a really pivotal moment that I always hold on to, because I was so lost and so fed up with life that I was out on the street with nowhere to go, no money, no place to lay my head, no food to eat. And I remember just being done with life. And I screamed out into the night for somebody to come and take me out of my misery. I didn't care. Anybody and everybody could have came and picked me up and done whatever they wanted to me. I didn't care. I was ready to die. Like, I did not care. And what happened after that is absolutely nothing. I was met with an eerie silence. Nobody turned on their light. Nobody told me to shut up. No cars drove by, nothing. And I remember sitting there just thinking to myself, well, there's no one around. There's no one here. So what am I going to do? So I got up, brushed myself up, and I kept on going. And that's why I'm here today. And I think that when we stop and take a moment to listen and hear, we will get answers. That silence told me something. It told me that if anybody was ever going to do anything with my life, I had to be the one to do it.
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go.
There's lessons in everything. Everything. You might think something bad happened. That incident that happened with me and my husband, I told him this, not that long ago. I was like, you know what? If we never went through that bad fight, I never would have been forced to face my fear. I don't think I would have made it to that entrepreneur conference. So in looking back at the series of events, even though that was an ugly fight, we're still together. Our relationship is stronger than ever. You know how they say, be the change you wish to see in the world? That is so true. Because for the longest time, I learned the hard way. You can't fix another person. I tried. I failed horribly. You have to fix yourself. Be the change you wish to see. And as soon as I started doing that, I started pouring all of my energy, all of my precious energy. I started pouring that into me. And that's when everything in my life changed. And it affected my husband, my finances, my children, how I mother them. I can be a better mother to my children, a better wife, a better friend. I'm just a better person in this world. And that's partly why I want to reach out and try to help people heal, so that way they can be the best versions of themselves. And in turn, we have a better world. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love the positive energy I see just vibrating within her, Tamara. I mean, it's really amazing. I'm enjoying it. I really am. And Tamara, I know that you're really resonating what she's saying, because I know you, and I know how you vibrate, and in a nice way, as far as energy I'm talking about. But you know what I mean? Because I've seen when you get passionate about what you believe in, you just come alive, and that vibration is there. And that's when you know that you know that you know that you know this person is coming straight from the heart. Absolutely. And I've seen that in you many times, Tamara, and I salute you on that, because you're a very special lady. And Tiffani, I got to salute you too.
Say, Tiffani, we're like soul sisters on this mission, because been through anxiety, depression, sexual assault, learning disabilities, being minimized, continuing on that journey where we feel minimized. It's not a one-time visit. It's the awareness that makes it easier. But we still are human, having human experiences, right? We're still going to feel minimized or misinterpreted or misunderstood. And it's a practice. It's supposed to be that way. And celebrating that journey. And so hearing your story, boy, it gives me goosebumps, because I feel like not only do you get it, you're living proof what I believe to be the most joyful way to live life is to not fight it, but embrace it and celebrate it. And really get a chance to shine through the muck and the confusion, because that's where the gold is, right? You have to dig in and invest and love yourself and love the people who mirror you back, all that contrast, because that's not me, but thanks for showing it, getting a chance to really celebrate it and not make them enemies, because that's right. We get invested again. We get really in that contrast. So I love that you shared that. And I love your story. I have a very strong visual now of brushing my teeth with a sprinkler. So thanks for that. So it's awesome. It's just these, I think that everything we go through, and I don't know if you relate with this, Tiffani, but everything we go through it's not supposed to, yes, it's hard, but it's really not. We make it hard, it should be fun and being even going through sexual assault. It wasn't fun going through that at the age of 5, but I hadn't had that experience, I wouldn't have been able to understand what I'm here to do. How am I here to be supportive of others?
Yes.
And so we actually have to go through some of that contrast to be of value, not that you weren't valuable beforehand, but it's the roadmap,
Yeah,
So
I agree
thank
with
you
you
for sharing your story.
100%. Thank you.
Go ahead, ladies. I'm enjoying this. I mean,
That was a weird moment.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
No,
I
Yeah.
was going to respond, but I forgot
for
what
it.
I was going to say. So I just,
Yeah, I'm on smoke break over here. I'm on the smokeless break.
That was an awesome moment. So, Tiffani, share with us a little bit again about the offers. You mentioned like 3 different opportunities to connect with you: the podcast, an opportunity to do an event that you have coming up, which I'm super excited to hear more about and actually maybe even participate in, and your book. So all of those are extremely accessible. And maybe you can share what one they should go with first, or, what would you do? What would you experience? What do you think is the best place for them to go?
well, if everybody's interested in learning about everything that I do, then you could just visit TiffaniPatlán.com, and I have links there for everything that I do, because I do have 2 other businesses that I'm trying to build as an empire to support your physical health, which is Cosmic Sweets, to try to teach people that you can enjoy a sweet treat without sacrificing nutrition. And also just how to eat healthier.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that website because I like sweets. You're
I got
singing my
recipes
song
on
now,
there.
girl.
Well, and
Oh,
if you
my
deny
goodness.
it, the more you want it, right? So you have to
Yeah.
embrace all of that. So I totally love that you celebrate
I'm a
that too.
chocoholic, so I mean,
Me too. I love chocolate.
You're amongst friends.
there you
But
go.
not the Snickers and the Twix. I like to make my own chocolate. I make my own caramel from dates, so it's not the processed white sugar. So there's so many different ways to make things, and
Oh,
I just want to try to teach people and help. The knowledge part comes in. Just
Oh, yeah.
sharing, getting people knowledgeable about things that they might not have known about before. I feel like substitutions is like one of the most easiest things to do, but also can be the most confusing thing to figure out.
Right.
So like I try to, help out with that. My herbal potions business, trying to gear it more towards, staying away from chemicals. I'm planning on developing more products, as the years come, but it's mostly to try to, educate people on chemicals. They're
Yes.
toxins, they're in everything. So I have wellness, water detox recipes. I have the benefits of different herbs, different things like that. So that's what that business is for. And then, like I mentioned before, I do have my book. The Kindle is available for 99 cents for anybody that's really searching for some inspiration, hope, and healing now. But I don't just leave you with the story. I leave you with something to implement, which is that wellness section in the back. And you could just, as soon as you get it, pick one thing from each core area and just start implementing it, whatever resonates with you. It can't be what other people tell you to do. It has to be what matters to you. And that's the reason why I designed it the way that I did, because yes, we're all different, but focusing on those areas daily is universal. So we all have to do that part, but pick what resonates with you.
Yeah. I like what you said about getting rid of the chemicals, because a lot of people don't realize that your body is a processing center. It's not a recycling center.
Right.
Yeah,
And a lot of people, think, well, I can eat this, then I can go there and take those herbs and it'll turn that junk into, good stuff. I mean, there's people who think like it. I know.
Yeah.
I know from personal experience, because I did it for a couple of years. So I'm living testament that. Yeah. I mean, if you take, your vitamins and you take good herbs and all that, and you have Snickers and Coke, in the afternoon, I mean, that's good, right? I mean, Coca-Cola, Snickers, I mean, maybe some crackers too, out of one of those slot machines. I mean, you're talking downtown now.
The vending machines, yeah.
I was on the go so much when I ran my business. I would, soda pop, cheese and crackers, maybe a Snickers, and that's my lunch, because I didn't have time to go in and, eat normal. There was sometimes I'd take my lunch, but, sometimes time did not allow me. I just had to get up and go. And so I went, but that was my world. That was the way I ate. And it just, you pay the price for it, because your body needs certain things.
Right.
You're a natural person. You should eat natural, and all these chemicals and stuff, it's bad news for you.
Mother Nature's packaged it just fine. You just
yeah.
trust Mother Nature.
That's right.
That's right.
Remember the old commercials? It's not nice to fool Mother Nature, and the lightning would flash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I love these like apples already pre-cut for kids, and I'm laughing. They're in a bag, and I'm like, seriously, one whole cup is like the size of your stomach. The apple is perfectly packaged. You just dig in, bite.
Yep.
Yep.
It's amazing to me.
Oh yeah. And now I kind of hate to go out and eat because a lot of times when they bring you food, and this is one of the middle things that you're taught, clean off your plate. There's hungry kids in the world. We'll send it to them. I mean, I don't want it. And, because I was always small growing up.
That's great.
Yeah.
Send it to them then.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, and so when they bring you these plates that look like you're 300 pounds and 9 foot tall or something, I'm going like, good gosh, I'm only 5'10". Yeah. And I mean, this one lady I know very well, she says they brought me a potato and it was this big. Now, this is not some young lady. She's a senior citizen. She's pushing 80 or past it right now. She said, they brought me a potato and it was this big and I ate the whole thing and I feel horrible. And I'm thinking like, well, that was very smart.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you? Yeah. I mean, that's why,
all kinds of signals. You don't need to go second guess it.
And if you overeat and you're not feeling good, I mean, that's just that's a big time signal that just like us, we're over time, and that's a big time signal. We're out of time. So, but we've had fun. We hope you've enjoyed the show too. And Tiffani, thank you so very much for being with us.
Thank you very much. You guys were a joy to chat with today.
Oh, we enjoyed it too. We just ran out of time. If I'd be hush, we'd probably have more time,
Well, that wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah. And Tamara, thank you for being with us. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. And please share Tiffani's message with us. Be sure and go to her website there, unlockingyourabilitytoheal.com. And we'll see you next time. Have a safe weekend. Be good to yourself. Love yourself, then you can love others. Take care of yourself. Those are your marching orders. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.